Welcome back, children. Today we are going to start with the topic carboxylic acids. This will be the last topic of our chapter aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. So now I'm going to start with the preparation of carboxylic acids. It's a very simple method. Just pay full attention over here. Let's get going. The first method which we will see today, how to prepare carboxylic acids, is from alkyl benzenes and alkenes. It's a very simple method. First of all, you must understand the meaning of the word alkyl benzene. I'll just draw and show you. First you draw benzene and put any alkyl group over there. For simplicity, I'm going to put CH3 over there. So this becomes my alkyl benzene, that is methyl benzene, or it is also called as toluene. All of us are aware of this name, alright? We are going to oxidize this compound using a very strong oxidizing agent like potassium permanganate and sulfuric acid. Instead of this, we can also use alkaline KMnO4 and heat it. So these are the two combinations which we can use in our exam. What happens is the terminal CH3, whichever is attached to the benzene ring, immediately gets oxidized to carboxylic acid. So you will just convert the CH3 to COOH. So this was very simple. I don't think so there is any difficulty in understanding this point. I'll give you some more examples. Let's look at this one now. We have CH2CH3, that's called as ethyl benzene, and let's suppose that we are going to react this with alkaline KMnO4. So what happens, what is the difference between acidic KMnO4 and alkaline KMnO4 is that when you use acidified KMnO4 you will directly get your product, but when you use alkaline KMnO4, you can understand, children, that there's already an alkali in this. For example, if I've added sodium hydroxide, then my product is not going to be an acid, but rather it is going to be a salt of the acid. So I will be writing it rather like CO minus, that is benzoate. So this is the point which you have to remember for exam, that whenever alkaline KMnO4 is given to you, you will not be getting the direct answer, you will be getting a salt which has to be further treated with acid, dilute acid, and then you get back your carboxylic acid. So that's the only difference. Rest all the thing is exactly the same. Let's come back to this structure now. How do we oxidize this? Look at this. So what you're going to focus on is the carbon which is next to the benzene ring. That is the carbon which you are going to oxidize to acid, carboxylic acid, and the remaining part whichever was there is going to get broken out. It's going to get detached. Okay, you have to remove this. So what do you get over here is nothing but COOH, and the remaining fragment whichever was there, you know, it's also going to get converted to the acid. Now this was a one carbon containing group, so naturally one carbon containing carboxylic acid is going to be methanoic acid. So that was a very simple concept. Now let me just increase the branching over here. If I put one more methyl group, again the same way you're going to do in exam, okay? You're just going to break this part also. So what happens is you get this complete portion is going to give you benzoic acid, which is this. And how many fragments are coming out? You can see 2 fragments are coming out, right? So these 2 fragments will get converted to two formulae of formic acid, like that. So this was one thing. And second thing is that if I put one more CH3, then of course it's a very difficult oxidation reaction because there is no alkyl hydrogen atom over here attached over there. So if I attach no hydrogen on this carbon atom, that is this benzylic carbon atom, so there will be no oxidation reaction taking place, and this compound, that is your tert butyl benzene, okay, tert butyl benzene is not going to undergo any oxidation with the acidified KMnO4 or with alkaline KMnO4. So I think this is extremely clear to you. How do we do it? And one more example I can give you. Suppose I write one more CH3 over here. So again, what you're going to get is you will be getting 2 COH, one over here and one over here. So children, that was the simple method. Let's take the example of alkenes now and explain to you. I will take a simple alkene. For example, I'll take CH2CH2 ethene, and I oxidize this with the same reagents which I gave you just now. acidified KMnO4, that is KMnO4-H2SO4, and heat it, or you can use alkaline KMnO4. So as I told you, if you use alkaline KMnO4, you will not be getting the carboxylic acid, but you will be getting the salt. So let's not use this method for exam and focus on this method only. Okay, now whenever you carry out the oxidation of alkenes, it's just going to be like ozonolysis. What did you do in ozonolysis? If you remember, we had first taken ozone and then we reacted it with zinc and water. So oxidation and then reduction. So when we did this reductive ozonolysis last time in the previous chapter, so remember that we had made an aldehyde out of this. So we had got something like this, just focus here. So we'll be getting CH2, look at this, CH2 and then double bond O. From here also we'll be getting CH2, and then wherever the double bond was there, you're just going to get double bond O. So the same kind of reaction is actually happening here also. The difference is that here the reaction will proceed further ahead. So one step ahead you have to think now. So what will be the final product of this part coming out? Naturally, when the formaldehyde is there, aldehyde is there, what happens to an aldehyde when it gets oxidized? Yes, so it gets converted to acid. So we will be getting, frankly speaking, 2 molecules of formic acid in this case. Some more example will make it extremely clear to you. Let's take this one now. So same way we will take this one. So it is different. Yeah, one more thing is that you have to remember that there should be at least one hydrogen atom on these alkene carbon atoms, otherwise the reaction will not take place. Okay, so that's the point. So we have to have at least one hydrogen atom, because if you have no hydrogen atoms, you know, the conditions will be again require high temperature and drastic conditions. So right now we are not going on that. We are just focusing on simple alkenes which have at least hydrogen atom attached to one hydrogen atom attached to the doubly bonded carbon atoms. So of course children, here we are going to get like this, and this will become CH3. See, you have to just change this whatever group was there to COOH, and naturally this is also going to change to HCOH. So these are the 2 products. Apart from KMnO4, of course all of you are aware, very much aware that we can also use potassium dichromate acidified. So that's why I'm not telling you this, because this is a known fact, everyone knows this and we are all aware of this fact. There was an interesting question given in the textbook, so I'll just take that first. The question which I had seen in the book was something like this: when you're treating this with alkaline KMnO4 or acidified KMnO4. So let's take acidified only. So children, don't be scared of looking at the cyclic structure, because it's just a normal alkene. If you just stop looking at the left hand side structure, it just looks like a normal alkene. So you have to do the same thing. You just break down from here. Okay, break that compound. So we'll be getting this, look at this, 1, let's say 1, 2, so naturally we'll be starting from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this carbon number 1 and carbon number 2 have undergone a cleavage. So the carbon number 1 and the carbon number 2 have changed to carboxylic part. So just draw the same thing exactly the same way. This was my carbon number 1, this was my carbon number 2, and what has happened to them is they have got converted to C double bond OOH. Okay, this one has also got converted to C double bond OOH. I'll just rub these names, numbers. So look at this. It's not at all a challenging case for us. Okay, let's take another one. So here also we can see that they have added just 2 double bonds. So naturally we have to break them the same way as we had done this one, and we'll be getting 2 fragments coming out containing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, like that. And this, the terminal carbon atoms, you have to just write down as COH, COH. So same way over here also, COH, COH. So we get propane dioic dioic acid. Look at the name also. You must practice the names which are given in the textbook. They are very simple, and the nomenclature is exactly the same as aldehydes. For example, if I say CH3CHO, okay, look at this. So what will I call this compound now? I'll call it as ethane. Okay, look at this. I'll just call it as ethanol. Now I'm going to call it as an acid, so for example. So if I change this to an acid like C double bond OOH, So I have to just write it as oic acid. That is the change which I have to do. So whatever aldehyde, if you have learned, we have discussed this previously also, how to name the aldehydes. If you have learned that thoroughly, definitely this is not going to be a big challenge for you. So this was the first method, extremely fantastic method. If I have to convert an alkene or an alkyl benzene to a carboxylic acid, I know the techniques. Let's go to the second method now.